Hi, I'm just hanging out in the rabbitry today and I want to talk a little bit about evaluating and culling broodstock. I think the first thing in culling broodstock is understanding your goals. My goal is to win in national competition. Yours may be different. It might be color genetics, it might be spinning wool for a wool market, it might be a meat market, dog and cat food, restaurants, whatever it might be. Understand your goals, they affect your culling decisions. The question I get asked a lot is how many herd bucks to herd does. I think if your goal is to compete in national competition, I think you're talking about 3 really good, preferably outstanding herd bucks and 6 to 12 herd does. I've heard breeders say, hey, we can do this with 6 herd does. They were master breeders. Most of us are not that good. So I'm sticking with the 3 and 12. I think the next thing is keeping records. If you have a small rabbitry, it might not be a big deal. I've got 90 holes, 30 herd does. I produce 700 rabbits a year. I am not going to keep that in my head, so I need a database. I use Evans. You may use another type. The important thing is that to keep track of your litter records, at least the ones that you find the most useful. I think the next thing is really deciding which rabbits are going to be your herd rabbits and which aren't. I've raised New Zealand's, Dutch, Satins, big Satins. I currently raise mini Satins. My expectation for mini Satins is the same as it was for big Satins and New Zealand's. And in order to do that with mini Satins, I need to keep herd does that are a little bit bigger and a little bit sturdier in terms of their bone, in the hopes that they can stand up to that kind of breeding pressure. So again, understand your goals. They affect culling decisions, and make good decisions about which rabbits you're going to use for brood rabbits. When to cull does. I've heard many really good breeders say you get 75% of your best rabbits out of 25% of your herd does. I've found that to be just absolutely true in the 45 years I've raised rabbits. And that means if you got 12 does, the 3 or 4 of them are producing your best rabbits, most of your best rabbits, and 8 or 9 of them are on the edge of being culled. You're looking for replacements for them all the time. Why would you cull them? How would you make that decision? Too many misses? You'll have to decide how many, but in the springtime, 1 might be too many. Hard to breed? Boy, if it's hard to breed a rabbit in the springtime, why are you feeding it? Maybe in the wintertime you might give it a break, but boy, not in the springtime. Not enough keepers. You have 2 or 3 really good rabbits that are out of those does that are on the cusp of being culled anyway, that by and large aren't producing your very best rabbits. So why not replace her? And the next one is the Tex rule. Tex is a master breeder, Silver Martins. His rule is 3 years and they're done. Regardless, if they haven't replaced a rabbit, it's good enough to replace them in 3 years. He's not feeding them anymore. And I can see some merit in that argument. So the next thing is culling herd bucks. Well, I have at any given time 5 to 6 herd bucks in my rabbitry. Bucks can change your herd, can change your fortune with your rabbits on the show table very fast, either for the better or for the worse. And so they're incredibly important. My tolerance for faults in a herd buck are very low. They have to be very good rabbits. They have to be able to produce very outstanding offspring over a variety of does. And if they can't do that, they can't stay here. If you don't have an outstanding herd buck, you need to go buy one or trade for one or whatever you need to do, but you need to get one. At any given time, I've got 5 to 6 bucks that are auditioning for that level. Again, they have to produce keepers out of a variety of does, and if they can't do that, they're not going to stick around. they have to have an outstanding characteristic that I want to reproduce and that they can reproduce. They've got to show themselves. So that's the bottom line for me for culling herd rabbits. I hope it was helpful. I'd love to talk about this or any topic with you at any time. Hope to see you at a show soon. See ya.